What's up, y'all? Sparty here. Now, I've done a video on LG Tone Frees before, but these are different. Where the original ones that I had, the FN4s, the cheapest ones that you can get, and that's not in terms of sound quality, in terms of durability, in terms of anything. It's just they were $100 where they were the baseline that you can get for in terms of LG true wireless tone free headphones, right? There's the FN5s, which were basically just these, but were basically just the FN4s with a wireless charging case. The FN6s had a wireless charging case with the UV nano case. And then here come these, which are the FN7s. Now, what are the difference with these? Wireless charging case, no UV nano, which is kind of weird, but whatever. A different design. So on the originals, what you got was you just got a basic touch panel right here. But what LG did with these is that they added, and if the S20 FE will stop shifting focus, you had to touch at the top here, but you never really knew where actually to touch. So what would happen is you try to you try to like play Airpods or do anything like that, and you would know where to touch. What they did is they added, it's not a button, it's just a haptic, sensor right here. You tap it and you could set in the app whether you wanted to play or pause or do whatever. You can set it to do whatever you want, and I'll show you guys in the app just exactly. And apologies for the the kind of nasty display. This is my coffee table, so you gotta move. But yeah, they added the haptic button there. Doesn't really do any sort of like vibrating or anything in your ear, which I do appreciate. I really don't feel it should do that. But let me talk about what this changes over the FN4s. So the FN4s only had ambient mode. They didn't have any sort of active noise cancellation or anything like that. These have active noise cancellation. And I will say, right now, off the bat, they're as good as the AirPods Pro. They are. They're not going to be any sort of like the Sonys or the Boses of the world where they're canceling out literally everything around you. But they do a very good job at canceling out the, like say, engine noises. If you're in the back of a bus and you're literally right by the engine, obviously you're going to hear an engine. I heard them with the AirPods Pro, no problem, and it canceled out the vast majority of it. I'd say like 80-90% of what was happening in terms of engine noises. I tend to sit in the back of the bus. A lot of people don't sit or go on buses. They tend to ride cars or just ride by a highway or something like that, or walk. But when you ride on a bus, and I keep shifting the camera up. When you ride on a bus, that is, to me, that's the definitive way you can truly test how well noise canceling works on a headphone, because you get other people on the bus that may or may not be listening to music through the speaker on their phone, may or may not be yelling on the phone while talking to somebody. You have the voice comm of, like, say, is calling out whichever street you're about to go by or about to hit, or when it says stop requested or something like that, it'll do that. The engine noises are pretty loud. And what I do like about noise canceling headphones is that they cancel out the vast majority of that noise. And it's very nice for that. So, like I've said, as good as the AirPods Pro in my opinion. I don't like the AirPods Pro is like, that was the feature that I really did like on them, is like the noise cancellation was just nice. And was a very good improvement on these is the ambient mode. The ambient mode on the FN4s, they were there. It was decent, but it sounded very robotic. It really didn't sound fleshed out. So apologies if you hear my dog breathing in the background. She's literally right there. But you can, it worked, it got the job done, but it didn't really feel natural. So that's just something that was kind of an issue that I did have, and I didn't really use them all that much. On these, though, the ambient mode is definitely improved. It definitely sounds better than what it did in the past. It sounds more natural. S's don't sound super sharp. That tended to be an issue for me, even on the AirPods Pro a little bit. And what is very nice about these with switching between the modes is you don't get that air funnel like effect like you do on the AirPods Pro when you switch between the modes, between hiccups, ambient mode and active noise canceling. It is a little bit there, but it's not nearly as like, it doesn't feel like they're literally sucking the noise out of your head, basically. And that could be as to why some people might think these don't do as well of a job as the AirPods Pro, where they don't give you the effect of, oh, it's literally taking everything out. It's the moment I put them in, whoosh, everything is gone. But from what I've checked, from what I've noticed, from what I've experienced with these, I just feel they're as good. Another thing that has been improved is the bass. Something that really wasn't all that great, or it wasn't, I wouldn't say great, because it wasn't the focus of the FN4s or the FN5s and 6s, was the bass. It sounded a little bit more flat, a little bit more natural. It didn't really have any sort of oomph to it or anything like that. It didn't really, I wouldn't say they didn't sound exciting, but they definitely had an issue. They definitely weren't bass buds. They just weren't that. These, the bass is very much improved. I listen to a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap, a lot of gangster rap, a lot of all that stuff. And some video game soundtracks as well, like say Doom Eternal. I do listen to that quite a bit. Doom 2016, I listen to that quite a bit. BOG Division. Only Thing They Fear Is You, tracks like that with heavy guitar riffs and like just a lot of audio stereo separation, which these are very good at. And the FN4s are also very good at as well. But these feel even better than that. The bass on these, they hit. They're not going to give you like they definitely give you a deep rumbling bass. What they're not going to give you is like, that's all you get is bass. Like, because like, it's a very punching bass. The sub bass is very nice. It does rumble, but it's not this like, it'll drag everything else under the bass. And what's very nice is that I used to have a equalizer setting through the app itself that I used to use with the FN4s. I don't need to use it anymore. That gave me more bass and all that stuff. And what's very funny is that when you initially set these up with a phone and you put them in and you connect them to the app, which I will show you guys right here real quick. Connect them to my V60, obviously. And let me turn the display down here. It's very nice. Is one, you get the battery life of the earbuds and the case, where before you only got the battery life of the earbuds. You didn't really know, except for the battery indicator on the front of the case, what the battery level was. And that was kind of not that great, to be honest. Apologies if you guys see fur and all that crap anywhere. I do have 4 different pets, so there's really nothing you can do. I don't know why it's on bass boost. I never use bass boost, but that's something that you could definitely see. Probably because I did connect them to my S20 FE, then reconnected them to here. But when you initially set these up on your phone, it will be on bass boost mode when you go through the app. That's probably to show, yeah, we improved the bass. I don't really like bass boost modes on anything, on any sort of equalizer. To me, it just feels like it just isn't me. And it feels like they're doing that just to make any sort of excuse to be like, yeah, there's good bass on here. I just don't like bass boost. Immersive mode is still the best mode to use for these, I feel. They just does a very good job at keeping vocals very clear and crisp and giving you a good amount of bass, which to me is like one of the best things about these headphones here. It gives you a little tutorial user manual in the app as well, which is very nice. They did change the 100%, the more than 80% to a green instead of a blue. I guess that's something that's nice. Again, you could update the headphones through here. Every time you open the app, it will tell you whether or not there is an update or whether or not they're up to date. So that's something you never really have to worry about. You have your touchpad settings here. As you guys can see, they reset my settings because I connected it to a different phone. So I'm going to have to reset these. So what I did was, as you guys can see, you play, stop, volume down, volume up, next, and next. I don't know why it has next on both. But typically what I do is on the left, I have volume down. On the right, I have volume up. Touch twice. I don't remember what I have on touch twice. I guess I'll do previous. And then I'll do next. And 3 times, I guess I'll just do voice command. And for the right, I'll just turn off. Now, the settings you can't change, and it does tell you down here, is you can't change the call, or you can't either receive or ending phone calls. You can't change the ambient sound or the noise canceling. This is what was really funny about the FN4s, is that noise canceling was still there, even though these weren't out yet. So this is how I pretty much knew, oh, they're going to come out with some noise canceling versions of these soon. And lo and behold, that's what they brought out. So yeah, you got all that, and I set it up to what I want it to, and this is pretty much what I have it set on. And it works totally fine like that. Obviously, you get your ambient control and ANC right here. You can have it turned off, which is typically works to give you better battery life. Noise canceling is there, obviously, and it'll take some battery away. These can get up to 7 hours of battery life. I haven't reached that quite yet, but to me, with how fast these charge and how well they do with their noise canceling and their ambient sound, I don't really care. I get like 4.5, 5 hours. I think one time I got 5.5 hours. So it's pretty much about the same as like the FN4s, which to me is very nice, because typically with noise canceling headphones, you do tend to lose battery life. And 5.5 hours is about what I got with the AirPods Pro as well. So that's very nice. Sorry, the phone keeps locking the focus every time I tap to focus. But yeah, you can do notification settings too. I just turned that off because I don't really care. I don't need it. When I typically use these when I'm at work and I don't need the distraction, so I just turned that off. You could also lock the touchpad. It's right there. So if you don't want to use it at all, or say you have a hat on or something like that, which I will say, I have been wearing hats because it's winter here, obviously, in Minnesota, and the past week it's been like negative 17 degrees and all that. So I have been wearing a hat and having these under them, and I haven't had any like accidental presses or any sort of touches like that. On the SB800N, I did have that, where the Sony SB800N, where That touch surface is a bigger surface to hit, so it was easier for a hat to like touch it and trigger it. That's something I haven't had on these at all. So that's something that's very good. That's something that I feel LG did a really good job to make sure that the touch sensor is small enough to where you can hit it yourself and not have any sort of issues. And it's not so big to where it's to the point where I feel they probably could have made the stem a little bit shorter. But honestly, I feel that's because I don't know if they're putting batteries in here or whatever, but the mics are also in here. They do have 2 mics on each headset, so better noise canceling and better call quality. I don't take calls. I don't call people much. But what I can do is I can just make a call real quick with my girlfriend or whatever and see how she feels about how the call sounds. So let me do that here real quick. Okay, so I reconnected him to my S20 FE and I called my girlfriend just to see how it sounded. She said I sounded nice and clear. I sounded loud as if I were on the speaker or whatever. So at least she can be able to hear me and I'm loud and clear and I wasn't crackling or anything like that. So that's very nice. So there's no issue. There are no issues there. So overall, I do feel these do a very good job with how they handle a lot of things and how they just operate. I do feel like the app is very nice and easy to use. The headphones themselves are easy to use. They're comfortable. And another thing they did change, and I will show you guys here real quick, is they did, oh no, if you guys can see it. Yes, because these little lines right here within the earbud itself, the gel itself, they have like this spiral tip thing, which is basically meant so that active noise cancellation does work better and they stay in your ear more securely. They do tend to stay in my ear a little bit more secure than other headphones. For whatever reason, I lost my gels that came with the phone. So what I did is with the Life Dot 2s, I just took one of those earbuds and put it on the left one. The left one, I don't know what it is. No matter what headphones I use, the left one always finds a way to slip out. But I really haven't had any sort of problems with these at all in terms of them staying in, comfort. I haven't had them fall out or anything like that. So it's been overall just a very good experience in terms of comfort. Most true wireless earbuds, I do not have them in my earbud for in my ears for more than like say 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4, if I'm like working and I'm on the truck and all that stuff. So that's something that hasn't really bothered me while on the truck. It hasn't decided, oh, I'm gonna slip out of my ear or anything like that. My left ear is very particular about what earbuds work and all that stuff, what stays in my ear. So no issues there really, aside from sometimes obviously due to the technology that these headphones are using and noise canceling headphones use in particular, I will hear popping sounds when my left ear decides, oh, it wants to slide out of my ear. I might just need to get my ears cleaned, like, because, that's just inside crap, earwax buildup and stuff like that. But I will say that it really doesn't happen all that much, and it only really happens, like, say, when I'm on a bus and the bus is going down a really bumpy road. If I'm going down a freeway or highway, I don't have any sort of issues with that at all. So they do a really good job at staying in my ear. Oh, other than that, but if you have very moist ears, ear canals, and you haven't had your ears cleaned in a bit, you will have issues with any earbud, I find. Like the AirPods Pro didn't really stay in my ear all that well either, but these stay in my ear better. So that's really going to be interesting. That's a very interesting thing. that's something to bring up that's very particular and I feel is very important. So again, my ears are not your ears, so you may not have you may not have issues with that. So yeah, that's all I really want to say with this. This is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for support. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday or whatever time of day it is in the area. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. Share with people that are interested in this sort of content. Have a good one.